Hi Gemini, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with me. My name is Carol and this is going to be a general reading for you, and there's no date on this reading because I trust that when it comes into your feed it's meant for you. And so in today's reading we're going to be doing how to get more love in your life. And this is a big one because, you know, oftentimes we can find ourselves in a position where maybe we've sworn off of love. Or sometimes we can attract the same type of people in our life and we can't figure out, you know, why can't these people meet your needs physically or emotionally? And so, you know, we're not just talking about intimate relationships here. We're talking about, you know, all across the board, friends, people at work, you know, relationships in our life, whether it's family members, you know, what is it that you know, we're going to look at, first of all, the blind spot that you have. Like, what is it around love that you don't see, that you need to see? Like, sort of what are maybe some patterns that you're not seeing? Some sort of beliefs around love, maybe. We're going to look at that first of all. And then we're going to look at what is stopping you from getting the love that you want. So this is going to explain why you're really avoiding love, because sometimes love can show up, real love can show up for us, and we just don't trust it. Or sometimes it can be, you know, boring and we can say, well, no, that's not real love. And so when we look at what's stopping us from getting the love that we really want, that's going to be sitting in your shadow. It's going to be sitting in your unconscious. So it's something that you're not aware of, and it's something that's from childhood or your adolescence that is kind of really, you know, driving or impacting this blind spot that you have around love. And then we're going to look at finally how you can begin to shift or heal your response to this pattern that you have around love. And that's going to be advice from the tarot. And so we're just going to, you know, just take a small step toward how you can begin to heal this. And so in today's reading, I'm going to be using the Tarot of the Abyss. And I'll also be using the Radiant Rider Waite deck. And so if I can ask Tarot for one card for Gemini as to what blind spot do they have around love. One card, please. You have the Star card in reverse, and you also have the Two of Pentacles in reverse. Can you tell me what's stopping Gemini from getting the love that they want? What's sitting in their unconscious that they're not aware of? And you have the Ten of Swords. And finally, let's have some advice from the tarot as to how Gemini can start to shift or heal maybe this pattern that's coming up for them, this blind spot that they have. You have the Justice card. And we'll get one or two clarifiers, please. Can we clarify the Star and the Two of Pentacles for me? One more card here. I think that's good. This Ten of Swords, can I have a couple of clarifiers for that, please? Tell me some more about that. One more card here. The Ten of Swords. All right. So behind the Ten of Swords, you have the Eight of Cups and the Sun card. And that's sitting in your shadow. And the Justice card. A couple cards for that. Okay, so you have the Two Fives, which brings about change for you. Definitely here for advice from the tarot. Five of Pentacles. And the Five of Wands in reverse. And unfortunately, there's some conflict that is going on here, but you know, with the conflict going on, that's always going to lead to some change for you. And so let's start off with what blind spot, Gemini, do you have around love? And you start off with the Star card in reverse. The Star card speaks about, in an upright position, speaks about healing. A time where I think, you know, you're realizing that you need some healing around love and your relationships, because maybe you're seeing these, you're starting to see some patterns, you're starting to realize like that, what is it, you know, oftentimes we can turn it on ourselves and say, you know, well, what is it about me? Why am I the common denominator in all of this? There has to be something here. And you know, that's where we start to heal all our relationships. And the blind spot, or our patterns around love, is to start to look at, okay, what part am I bringing to the table here? And that's what I'm trying to do here for this with this reading. So they can see this woman here is just, you know, she's reaching really high to try to get to that Star card, to try the star up in the sky, to try to get to her answers, try to figure this out. But this is in reverse for you. So I'm seeing here that, you know, there's a resistance on your part, or maybe a fear to try to say, okay, I'm not really sure if I want to, you know, sometimes is it the effort or the commitment, or just not sure as to maybe how to do this, or where to start. But there's definitely some healing on your part, and I think you realize that. But like I said, there's resistance. And then the Two of Pentacles comes up behind it here, and it kind of explains a bit as to, you know, what this reverse card means for me now. Because the Two of Pentacles talks about this individual that is, it almost looks like, I see it in an upright position as this individual that has a yo-yo in their hand, or it's normally portrayed as a juggler, actually, in the Rider-Waite deck, where they're quite unbalanced. And you can see how this individual is, you can see how they're kind of unbalanced, because it's almost like a dizziness, really, when they're using these pentacles as yo-yos. And it's in reverse here, but I think what's happening is you are keeping yourself, I see the Two of Pentacles as someone that's really keeping themselves distracted, almost to the point where they've become quite dissociated in their own body. Because I think that, you know, their distraction, or this dissociation that you have in your head, keeps you away from the healing that has to be done. Because in order to heal, we have to get ourselves out of our head, which is where you are, and get back into our body. And I think there's something where you don't want to go back in your body, because this is clarified, both of these cards, by the Ten of Cups. And the Ten of Cups is a beautiful card. It talks about the beautiful rainbow of emotions that we have, that all of us have access to, right? We're supposed to feel all of our emotions. They're supposed to come in, we process them, and then they go out, right? And this card's here to say to you, Gemini, you have all these feelings, lots of them, that are kind of really wanting to come up for you right now. And maybe you're feeling it. It's like, oh my God, there's just way too much coming up here. I don't even know where to start. I don't know what to do with it. And so that's why you keep yourself very much distracted and up in your head, because you're not really willing at this point to look at you know, some of these relationships in your life, and what do they mean, and why they're not maybe working out in the way that you would like them to, and why you're not getting the love that you need. And so I think you're very much someone that is sitting in a state of confusion. And this is kind of what the, you know, Two of Pentacles kind of talks about that as well, you know, as to what to do here. And yeah, maybe needing some focus. And I'm hoping that this is what this reading is going to do for you, is give you some focus. So what's impacting this situation right here, this state of confusion that you're in with all your emotions, and you're not really sure about your relationships in your life. You know that there's healing that needs to be done. Well, you start off with the Ten of Swords as the main card here for your shadow, which is all those things you put away when you were younger. All those things you repressed about yourself, those things that you were told, that people told you about yourself, all your big emotions, all your memories, all your trauma is buried here. And this Ten of Swords talks about the swords that are, look at them all, how they've done this individual in. There were a lot of things that were told to you when you were younger. That's what our swords are. It's our mental energy. And when we're younger, people tell us things. Maybe they told us things like, maybe you're an unlovable person, or why you're not a lovable person, and all kinds of things that just didn't make us feel good about ourselves. And look what it did to you when you were younger. And so I'm seeing here that you're very much spinning. And I said that you're very much in your head. And I can imagine that you tell yourself all these thoughts about how you're not good enough, how you don't deserve love, how you don't deserve to have real love, authentic love, and the love that you deserve. And you continually, right now, continually tell yourself on a spin cycle in your head all of these things that were told to you when you were younger concerning love. This is what happened to you when you were younger. And I can see here that you have the Eight of Cups. And the Eight of Cups, if it's not in the shadow, it's a card that talks about this person walking away to do some shadow work. And so this is very much a dark night of the soul card, as far as, if you think about it, dark night of the soul means that, it's a really dark period for you, really difficult period for you. And that's what this card represents. And so I can see there's a dark night of the soul, a difficult period for you in your childhood, in your adolescence right here, where you didn't have the joy that that we're supposed to feel when we're younger. And this is what the Sun card represents, is pure joy. And your joy is put away in your unconscious. It's something that you didn't see, something that you weren't allowed to have. And so you have a really difficult childhood where you had things that were told to you that weren't true, but yet you continue to believe them in your head around love. And I think it's time now. We're going to see what the advice of the tarot says here about, what's the guidance here for you, so that you can stop spinning around all these things that people told you about love that aren't true, and you continue to believe them. Well, the first thing that comes out is Justice card. I love this card for you. I think it's time for you to get some justice here. I think it's time for you. Look at her eye. She looks very much focused, very much determined, very determined to find out, what happened to me when I was younger? What did people teach me about love? What did people teach me about myself? What was it about me that people said about me that wasn't true? And the first card that comes out, and I said you have these two difficult cards here that come out. You have two fives that come out. And these are the cards that are going to bring about the most change in your life. The first card that comes out is the Five of Pentacles. And this Five of Pentacles talks about these individuals that are walking by the church. And they don't even feel worthy enough to go into that church and ask for some clothes, ask to get some warmth, what they need, because they're not properly dressed for the winter time. It really is a card of unworthiness and not feeling like, you deserve certain things. And it's in resistance here because there's a real fear on your part to really getting in touch with that feeling of that you don't matter, that you don't matter. And I think that's time now. This is what this Justice card is, and we talked about this in your shadow here, where you were told all these things and you felt like you just didn't matter. And now that you've carried this over, you've carried this into adulthood with you. And now it's time to really, it's time to, we're going to look at this and we're going to start to heal this, because we said here at the beginning that there's some real healing that needs to be done. Some real healing around unworthiness and why you feel like you shouldn't have the love that is meant for you. And this Five of Wands comes in, and my Five of Wands, this is often called a conflict of the egos here. But I look at this card because this is a healing channel, and it's in reverse because, again, there's this resistance on your part and this block to looking at this. But I've come to know this card recently as I call it my inner critic card. It's that part of you that continues to that critic in all of us, that inner critic that says, you don't deserve love. Who do you think you are? You don't matter. And these are all the things that you've said about yourself, all the things that people said about you when you were younger, what they told you, which weren't true. A bunch of lies is what it was. It's a bunch of lies. And that inner critic continues to wreak havoc in our head and continue to tell us all these lies to keep us small, to keep us feeling unworthy. But you know what? It's time. It's time now for you to really start to heal some of these unworthy thoughts that are coming in your head. It's like, where do these beliefs about yourself come from? It's time to start to really lean into those emotions that, this Ten of Cups is saying, you have all of these emotions, and emotions are meant to feel. And so I think that you need to really focus on your feelings of unworthiness. And that can really lead us into, what's the point? I don't matter. And that's the hopelessness and the depression that you can find yourself going into. And maybe you relate to that, those periods of hopelessness where you're just like, I won't ever get this love. And so I'm going to leave you with a video on grounding, a playlist on grounding, so that you learn how to ground your mind, and then ground your body, so you can get back into your body and you can start to get in touch with some of these unworthy feelings that people told you about yourself, and feel them. Start to really feel them. Do some healing around those. And I'll also leave you with Gemini, your 2025 reading that I did for you. And I want you to have compassion for what you're dealing with right now. This healing journey is the most difficult journey of your life, but it's the most important one. So I'll talk soon. Bye.